Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Allison Maloney. The nation's baby formula shortage is back in the headlines as a company partially behind the formula shortage is trying to fix things for the future. For more on this, let's bring in editor-in-chief of Food Fix, Helena Bottemiller Evich. Helena, thank you so much for joining us today. So Abbott Nutrition says it's planning to invest $500 million in a new factory that will manufacture specialty infant formulas, but this doesn't solve the problem right now.
It doesn't. This plant is going to take years to get online. I think everyone welcomes it as a step. A lot of parents don't realize we only have about a dozen plants in the US that make infant formula. So having more manufacturing capacity is certainly welcome, but it is going to take a while before that plant is really making a dent in the situation we have right now.
Yeah, and it's been nearly a year since the formula shortage crisis began, and a recent Census Bureau survey found that nearly 1/3 of households with infants say they're still having trouble finding baby formula. So why is this still a problem?
It is one of the most baffling things I've ever covered. I've been covering food policy for more than a decade in Washington. I never thought that this would go on so long. There's a lot of things at play here. There's regular COVID supply chain issues, ingredient disruptions. We had a massive recall of Abbott Nutrition formula, which is the biggest player in this space. So brands like Similac that really disrupted things. We had a major plant, about 20% of the American formula capacity shut down for many, many months. So there are a lot of things fueling this, but it's still surprising that it has gone on this long.
Yeah, and obviously, people still having problems, but it hasn't been in the news. You wrote an article on this a couple of days ago for your publication, Food Fix. In it, you say it's not hard to find signs of a formula shortage in stores, but on the flip side, you say there should be plenty of formula because production is not only up, but demand is down. Talk to us more about that.
Yeah, this is another reason that it's so confusing. So technically, formula demand appears to be down, which is very interesting because we actually have an uptick in the birth rate here in the US. So we're not exactly sure what's going on here, but essentially, like the retail data, the official retail data looks pretty good. So the average in-stock rate across the country is about 86%. And that's pretty good. That's almost normal. That shows the situation is improving. We know we have enough volume. We have enough calories to feed all of our babies. And yet store shelves still look really bad in a lot of places.
Yeah.
You can, here on Capitol Hill, the Safeway has not been very well stocked the entire time.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was at the store a couple of weeks ago, and I don't have babies, but for some reason I was in the baby area, and I noticed that the formula, the shelves were still pretty bare. Why do you think, though, the demand for it is down? Do you think because this happened, maybe new parents said, well, maybe I'll breastfeed because I don't know if I'm going to be able to find formula for my baby?
I think it very well could be a factor.
Yeah.
We don't have great data yet. We do have some early numbers from WIC participants. So that is the federal nutrition program we have targeted at women, infants, and children. We have seen some increase in the breastfeeding rate there. So that could be part of the big picture here. We don't yet know. But I think it's important for folks to remember that we do have enough calories, right? We do have enough formula, but finding the particular type you need, if you need a specialty formula or any kind of sensitivity or allergy, those folks are having a particularly hard time right now. And it's a very confusing situation because technically the retail data, again, shows an improving situation. We know we have enough volume, and yet store shelves still look bad in a lot of places. And I think that really stresses parents out, right? It's a stressful experience.
Oh, yeah, especially if your baby can only have a certain type of formula. That's extremely stressful, and especially, if you have to drive hours to go find it. In your opinion, how do you think that the Biden administration did when it came to addressing the baby formula crisis?
Well, I think we've seen different phases. In certain points of this crisis, they've been extremely hands-on. I mean, the White House has been managing this situation for many months. It's obviously very, very sensitive to not have enough formula for infants in the U.S. This is like a top national security, health security issue. It's also very sensitive heading into the midterm. So I think at times they've been very active. We have seen months of Operation Fly Formula, which is actually bringing in planefuls of imported formula from places like Europe and Australia. They've made it easier for imports to get on the shelves. So brands that we didn't previously allow are now on the shelves. So there's been a lot done, and yet here we are, 8 months after this massive recall, and the shelves still in many places look bad. And I
Yeah.
think that fuels a psychology among parents to also buy more, frankly, which is a natural response.
Right, absolutely, and I also think the fact that at least now, we do have that Abbott lab that they'll be creating formula here in the U.S. It won't happen for a while, but I think we need more of that to have things made here in the United States, so we don't have to rely on other countries. Helena, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Great article.
Anytime. Thanks.
All right.